Hi. Okay, so for this speech, I chose to write about something that, or talk about something that I knew I was passionate enough about to talk about for a long time, and that's children. So my speech is about what it's like working with children and why I love what I do. I love working with children, and I feel very passionate about it because I'm not really sure why. I'm the oldest of 5 siblings, and so I've always been around younger kids. And I work in a daycare with 3, 4, and 5-year-olds, and I also teach swim lessons all summer long, so I'm constantly around children, and it's just something I love to do. So my first point is what it's like working with children. I absolutely love being around children more than I do actually being around peers and adults. I don't really know why, but when I'm in the daycare working there, there's a girl named Ava, and I feel like I can have complete conversations with her about anything. School, she tells me about her little boyfriends when she's 5 years old, and just I can have full conversations with a 5-year-old, and it just seems a lot more easy and a lot more comfortable than having conversations with people my age, because you know they're not judging you, and if the children are judging you, they're going to tell you. They're going to be like, well, Miss Emily, and they're going to say it to your face. So that's one reason I love working with children, because I feel like they're easier to talk to than adults are and people my age, and I just love it. I love being around them, and I love feeling like what I do impacts them, and my decisions and the things that I'm constantly doing, they're always looking at me and they're like, oh, you took anatomy, why'd you take anatomy? And then I would tell my little 4-year-old why I took anatomy and why it was interesting to me, and then she was like, oh, I have to take anatomy when I get into high school. I'm so excited. So it's cool to feel like you have that kind of an impact on children. Another point that I wanted to talk about is what it's like working with children with different disabilities. I've been privileged enough this semester to work at Stonewall Elementary in a 5th grade classroom, and I'm not student teaching yet, but the teacher that I'm working for, she has let me teach a lot of different lesson plans, and she just sits down and records me, or she takes notes and tells me things that I need to work on for the next lesson. So that's been good, and it's been beneficial to me for my public speaking and just learning how to speak in front of, I'm not nervous around kids, but having her sit there and like take notes on me, that makes me nervous. So I want to talk about what it's like to work with children of different disabilities. In this classroom, I have a lot of children from different minorities. I have children in this classroom that can barely speak English. I have children that, one child has Asperger's, one has Down syndrome. So I've had the opportunity to work with all of them, and it's really fun. I think it's a good it's like a good experience to practice for my future classroom, because I think the most important thing about having students with disabilities in your room is being inclusive. You don't want to make them feel excluded in any activity. So it's been a cool experience for me to have practice planning lessons and picking out activities online and making sure that this child with Down syndrome, this child that's deaf, or any exceptional learner can participate in that activity and can learn from it. So that's been a really good experience for me, being around students who aren't necessarily your average student. They're exceptional learners, or they're from minorities and they need some additional help. So it's been interesting for that. Another thing I wanted to talk about was the pros and cons of teaching. Obviously, as a teacher, you don't make that much money. My mom and my stepmom were both teachers, so I know all about the finances of being a teacher. No teacher is in it for the money. Like, no one can sit there and say, oh, I do this for the money. That's not something that's said. I love it because of the children, obviously. There's so many pros and cons. You know, you get summers off, you get to all of these opportunities to do tutoring, to lead Girl Scouts, to lead Boy Scouts, to do things with younger kids and really impact their lives. Like, some of them don't have good parental figures in their life, and you are really the biggest role model that they have. So that's definitely a pro to it. A con to it would be, like I was talking about, inclusion. If a family feels like you're not being as including to their student, you deal with lots of parent emails and lots of upset teachers and stuff like that. So that's definitely a con to it, which I've actually dealt with a few of those too for some of the subjects that I've chose to teach about and talk about in social studies class. But I wouldn't change it, because what's really important to me is to teach students to form their own opinions and not come to school and believe just what their parents have forced upon them or just what they've heard at home. It's important for them to hear the facts themselves and to make their own judgment and their own opinions about certain issues such as politics or immigrants, like anything like that. It's very important. So I love having that position over these students, and I love I just love feeling like no matter their exceptionality, their learning disability, their ability or inability, I'm able to help them form their own opinions. And I just love my job, and I love that I'm going to be able to spend the rest of my life in a classroom and working with children. It's something I'm very passionate about, and I'm definitely excited to see where the future takes me. And I'm thankful that I took this class, because I still think I did really bad on this, but I think it's a lot better than it would have been had I not taken this class. I've learned a lot of communication skills, and I'm very thankful for it. So thank you.